Joining us now is Christina Bellantoni from Roll Call. She is the editor of Roll Call. Wow, that's a big job right there.
Editor-in-chief, thank you very much.
Editor-in-chief. I wish I had a title like that.
I'll call you Editor-in-chief of Mornings on the Mall.
Okay, I'll take that.
I mean, I'm not going to.
Christina, thank you for joining us, and sorry for putting up with our silliness. How are you?
No, not at all. I'm great. Good morning.
All right, so, Roll Call, you follow very closely what happens on Capitol Hill. Yesterday, there was a roll call on Capitol Hill, and it had to do with the XL pipeline, and at the end of the day, Christina, I think we're going to have to reestablish our phone call with you. We're having some problems with the line. Can we do that real quick?
There she is.
Are you okay now?
Yeah.
It's better now. Okay, thank you. Christina, they took the vote on the XL pipeline, and Democrats were able to block this pipeline from going forward. They needed 60. They came up with 59.
Sure did. What they're really looking for is 67, which is a veto-proof majority, because the White House could very well veto this legislation. So it was an exercise that potentially could help Mary Landrieu as she tries to win her runoff election in Louisiana on December 6th. But it was also a matter of her being able to show that she's a leader, to show what it means to be in power. But the fact that the Republicans have already reclaimed control of the Senate doesn't help her all that much, because you'd be swapping out a Republican and Bill Cassidy, who supports this bill, for Mary Landrieu, who supports that bill. So that number doesn't change. So what it does is it sets up the White House for, what do they do? Do they try to negotiate something with Republicans and say, all right, well, Democrats want concessions here on Keystone? Or do they just say, we're going to veto it and make this an environmental standoff? So it's a complicated fight that's been going on for many years.
Christina Bellantoni, I know that everyone looks to roll call, or many people look to roll call sort of to give a good view of what's going on legislatively.
Yes, everyone thinks that.
And I wonder, as we head into this lame duck session, it's always an interesting time, I think, when you have some senators who really have nothing to lose, and there's definitely some things that are on the slate. What's on your radar?
Well, the biggest issue is actually this Democratic fight right now going on among House Democrats, because you've got a lot of tension between the people who value seniority over the people who are saying we should look to new leaders. So it can get a little arcane sounding, but these are ranking member slots, essentially the number 2 position on a committee. And right now you've got Nancy Pelosi putting everything in for Anna Eshoo, one of her best friends, the godmother of her children, from California, to be the Energy and Commerce ranking member. But really, Frank Pallone is next in line. And so you've got all of the people that believe that seniority system should stand. Democrats have this informal rule that the most senior person should get the job. This sets up a whole fight with the Congressional Black Caucus, who has always really protected the seniority system. And also, there's another fight happening. This is all happening this morning at 8:30 in the Democratic caucus meeting. You've got Tim Walz, who is an actual veteran. He's actually Congress's longest-serving veteran, who wants to be the ranking member on the Veterans Affairs Committee. But Corinne Brown, who is next in line on that committee, and a member of the Congressional Black Caucus, is saying she wants it. And so there's this surprise vote, and it just sets up a huge fight.
Quick follow-up on that. Darrell Issa's Oversight Committee has been one of the most active and controversial committees over the last 2 years. He is no longer the chairman. They announced, the Republicans did, that Jason Chaffetz of Utah will be the chairman. Will Elijah Cummings of Maryland still be the ranking member for the Democrats, or is he being rotated off?
No, Cummings will definitely get that post. And he's actually looked at as one of the sort of, not really backbenchers, but like rising stars within the leadership, even though he's one of the older members. They really look at him as a go-to person, a great foil for Issa, and probably going to be a good foil for Chaffetz there. You're not really expecting many fights or many changes at all. Raul Grijalva is going to be back at Natural Resources. So the 2 main fights are this Energy and Commerce slot, and then Veterans Affairs.
All right, so look, the big battle line that is going to be drawn as this week progresses is going to be between the president and the Republicans when it comes to immigration amnesty. President going to take action without Congress being involved in it. That's not going to make a lot of people on Capitol very happy. And there has been some talk among some quarters on the Republican side of the equation, hey, you know what, we need to shut the government down over this. Do you get any sense that has any real legs, or will they go at this another way?
Nobody wants to shut the government down. The Republicans learned that lesson in 2013. But what you're seeing is a small group of loud and influential people who have a following, especially when it comes to conservative talk radio or the internet, who are saying, look, like, this is a worthy fight to have. We don't believe the president should be able to make this move with his executive authority. Constitutionally, it seems as if he's on solid ground. So that is going to be a really interesting challenge, but I'm telling you, I will predict right now that they're going home on December 11th, and we're not going to see them again until they take the oath of office on January 6th.
Interesting. And are there other fights? I mean, you basically just said that the Democratic leadership is staying intact. There's a few squabbles here and there over the ranking member positions on some committees. But I wonder, I mean, you've been observing this for a long time. Given the drubbing the Democrats just took, are you surprised that they're sticking with the leadership? And will Debbie Wasserman Schultz retain her role as the chairwoman of the Democratic National Committee?
I don't think anybody expects Debbie Wasserman Schultz to stay on. She's been there for quite a while. It's sort of time for somebody else. And she has clashed a few times with leadership. And in fact, she complains that Nancy Pelosi is not letting Tammy Duckworth, who is pregnant and unable to travel, vote by proxy in this fight that I just mentioned about Eshoo and Pallone. So Wasserman Schultz will definitely, I think, do something different within the caucus. A lot of people still do look to her as a leader. But, yeah, they've elected basically the exact same people. And when you have a conference that has been so demoralized and so dejected, and you have these younger rank-and-file members who would like to have some power at some point, still having to stand in line for, people that are in their late 60s and 70s, that sets up a lot of tension. So you start to lose some of your best people because they don't want to wait around. They're not going to be chairman for a long time, that sort of a thing. So that is an issue for the Democrats. There's a lot of consternation there, and I'm not surprised because they look at Nancy Pelosi as really somebody that does benefit the party a lot, especially financially.
Raises a lot of money, that's for sure.
Yeah. But it is still something that they're going to have to grapple with over the next several years, I will say. They have one fresh face. That's Ben Ray Lujan, who's going to lead the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. He's the only new person in leadership this year. And we actually profiled him in Roll Call today to learn a lot about him. He used to milk goats on his family farm. This is a New Mexico Democrat with a lot of long ties and whole new staff.
Well, Christina Bellantoni, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We love what you guys do over at Roll Call.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right.